Cool. I do believe we are live. And everyone, welcome to MG number 214. This is the Fireside Chats, and this is just basic random geekery. This was originally going to be Drew's game, but he had a late return from his trip, and he's resting up from that. So you can join us again next Wednesday, where we resume our live stream D&D games. But until then, you get us, Robert and I, and whoever else from the group decides to join for a little bit. Keep this about an hour or so. Robert, how are you doing tonight?
A little tired, but other than that, doing pretty well.
Okay, cool.
At least I didn't get worn out by Arnold like Drew did over the weekend.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
What was it, like a bodybuilding convention or something?
Something along those lines. It's
all right. Wait.
Well,
all right,
we can ask the man himself.
Hang on a second.
Hey.
All right. I did I just wander into a Rod Serling episode?
What did I miss?
You're like, oh, I'm not running my game. I'm gonna be tired and resting up. I figured you'd be like in bed or something with your wife rubbing your feet or some shit.
I am exhausted, but
well, I appreciate you being here, but you don't go get some rest. What are you doing?
No, I'll hang out for a little. I want to hang out for a little bit. You
sound like shit.
Yeah, Arnold must have really worked your ass off on that wheel of pain.
Jesus Christ!
I did run one errand for Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday morning, while he was in the panel doing his discussion thing, my brother's the media, what is he? The media manager or something. He handles all the media
like
for
the MC or something.
Well, he MCs stuff, but also handles the social media and deals with all of the media people that cover the event. Who gets press passes? Who doesn't get press passes?
Mm-hmm.
Hiring and dealing with the photographers and videographers. Basically, everything related to media coverage of the event, traditional and online media, he's in charge of. But also, when you work for Arnold, if he wants something done, it just doesn't matter what your fucking job is. It needs to be done. And he wanted the Celsius energy drink for the waiting area backstage for when he was done with his thing. And this is like on the other side of the fucking convention center. So we're like, oh shit. And David asked, hey, can you help me with this? So I just followed him over there. We didn't run, but walked very quickly across the convention center. We went to where the Celsius, they had their thing in the expo, and each of us got a case from them. And it's funny because he walks up and he says, Arnold wants a few cases. They're, oh, okay, just gave us the case and we went back. So I did work for like 20 minutes for Arnold, unpaid gopher stuff.
Cool.
Fetching drinks. But
it sounds like you had a good time.
It was fucking awesome. But between the flights and way too many, everybody's giving out fucking energy drinks. Or I shouldn't say everybody, but there's Rain and Celsius. We're giving out energy drinks. There's a couple other sponsors, but you get energy drink? Okay, I'll take fucking energy. And what the company's name is? ABE or something, like all black everything. So I got energy drinks and it was fucking nonstop. I didn't want to miss anything. So plus, because David was working there, he was like on call the whole fucking thing. So he would be up early in the morning to go and do shit. So I would get up, like not super early, but 8 or something. The stuff typically didn't start till 10, but so I could go on and grab a quick bite with him and then go and be able to do behind the scenes shit and meet people that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to. And then at the end of the day, it was fucking surreal. I mean, if you don't follow competitive bodybuilding or never did, then probably be like, I don't give a fuck. I don't know who these people are, but to be able to just be sitting down at a table in the restaurant at night with these fucking people and just everybody is talking and having casual conversation like it's the most normal thing in the world was just, it was surreal. It was
going on, gentlemen.
Hey,
Welcome to the live stream Fireside Chat. This is what we do when we do not run a game or have a guest on. So
I've been plus because I was
you
gone.
you sound really tired.
Yeah.
Well, I've been trying to catch up on all the work. The forum has been fucking growing. So I got all these people asking questions. So I had 4 days of backed up questions to get to when I got in. But it was worth it. It was worth it.
That's cool. Very cool.
It's just fucking unreal. Except my protein.
How long were you out there?
I got there Thursday morning. Those motherfuckers. I flew Frontier Airlines. They're almost as
Well, that's
bad
your
as-
first mistake right there.
I was supposed to leave at noon. Noon. And I get a fucking email like 2 days before, oh, your flight's been moved to 6:30 fucking a.m. So I had to wake up at 3 in the morning in an Uber to the airport. And which was cool because I got there early Thursday. The shit didn't really start until later on, but I got again more behind the scenes crap all day and some time to. My brother was working. This was not a vacation for him. He was this like the busiest couple days of his entire fucking year, just running around, handling this, handling that, all this stuff, and so we got to hang out a little bit, but most of it was just me following him around, working and getting. Just at the end of the day, sitting down to eat was about the only time we actually get to sit and chat. But anyways, yeah, Frontier Airlines fucking sucked ass. And then when I was supposed to fly back, I was in a rush because I wanted to wait long enough that we got to meet Arnold and do all that stuff, which was fucking surreal. But then I finally get to the fucking airport. My flight was supposed to go at 4, and then they say it's 5, and they say it's 7. We didn't get on there until 9, and there was a possibility that they were just going to cancel the flight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and this is the really fucked up thing. The reason they were going to cancel it was the glass in the peephole in the door between the plane and the pilot's cabin had a crack in it.
Mm-hmm.
So the pilots couldn't
That's
see through their
ridiculous.
little fucking peephole.
Mm-hmm.
The plane was mechanically fine, but because the pilots couldn't see through their little fucking peephole because of FAA regulations, they couldn't move.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the fuck they're called.
I'm surprised the crew didn't time out and it get canceled for that reason, because
They were talking about that.
yeah, the way that's set up between regs and whatever the contracts are with the pilot or flight attendant unions at various airlines, they can only work or be kind of on the clock. So whether they're flying or not, if they time out, that's it. There's nothing that can be done either because of regs or contracts. And if they don't have another crew to take their place or something like that, then that's just it. You're stuck until the next day, which of course an entire flight, depending on how full it is, that's all those people that have to get somewhere on some other flight that may or may not be full. So you
There's a
patch
bunch
them
of
in
people
where you
with.
can.
This is an international event, and there were people that were waiting for this plane that needed to get to Orlando, which is an international airport,
Right.
to make connecting flights to other countries, not just elsewhere here. It was people were freaking out.
That's a fucking mess.
It was, and there's a bunch more, but I'm not going to bore you with the details of their maintenance issues and all this other crap. I felt bad for everybody else, but I was just relieved that I was going to get home that night. I mean, worst case scenario, I stay in Columbus for another night.
Yeah, it's hang out, no big deal.
I can relate, Drew.
So-
Same thing happened to me beginning of January when I was flying back. This happened in Portland, Oregon, and I was Frontier. I was supposed to fly to Vegas to do a podcast show, and I wasn't supposed to. I didn't have anything planned with Rolo, but apparently Rolo was coming in the same time, and I was supposed to get a ride with him and Miguel, but they canceled my flight. And not just that, it took them 5 hours to say, okay, we can't give you another. The flight's not going. There are maintenance issues. And then they canceled that flight. And then the next day they had to cancel it again. And so I was stuck there for 2 days. And they were saying, hey, you know, we can refund you your money, but you know, Frontier's cheap as fuck, right? So yeah, of course. Oh, I would love to have, you know, the amount of money I spent and spend times 5 times 10 more, you know, just to get a flight that day.
The money you get back from Frontier is not going to get you a flight anywhere else.
So lesson learned. Here's the thing. The reason I picked the Frontier flights, and this is so stupid. I didn't know any better. I'm not familiar with the Frontier Airlines or any of that. I mean, I didn't know that it was like, what's that airline?
Spirit.
Or the Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Aaron Clary's Chicken Express.
I got it because the arrival and departure times fit pretty much perfectly with all of my plans for the event. But next year, I'm not flying them. Although I've got to say, for all the issues with the airline, the desk people that were at the gate, it was gate C47, flight 1055. They handled the whole thing really well. There was a lot of people who were really, really upset. And the gate people...
Good customer service.
Yes. So for all the other faults, at least they had good people working the gate who handled all of that well. So...
Yeah, it's not their fault anyway.
It was the opposite for me. The 2 ladies behind the desk could not handle anything. I'm surprised people weren't upset. And they were just sitting there complaining like, oh, my supervisor sucks, took the day off, blah, blah, blah. Like literally saying it out loud. So putting the blame elsewhere.
Maybe they were planning on, what is that word?
I even recorded it on my phone and I asked them, I'm like, do you guys not do $500 vouchers anymore where you can just put us on a different flight? And they're like, oh, I don't know anything about that. And I'm like, what? Because they did this back when I was in Denver. They had a snowstorm, right? So that's understandable. But they basically gave us a voucher and said, if you can get out of here, you can get out of here. And it was like a $500 voucher. They couldn't even do that when I was there. And I'm
quiet
just like,
quitting. Wow. I think that's the term, quiet quitting, for when a person has decided that they're done with their job, but instead of quitting, they just fuck off until they get fired.
Yeah.
So maybe that was what was going, which is just fucking pathetic. If you're paid to do a job, you do the job to the best of your ability.
Correct.
Regardless of what it is, you take pride in your work. Somebody's paying you to do a fucking job, but that really sucks. Yeah, with apologies to the desk people, they were great. I don't think I'm flying Frontier again.
Yeah.
I would rather spend extra money for another airline and have to go a day early and stay a day late. And I would rather pay for a different airline and pay for another day or two at a hotel. Actually, that would be a good idea, because then I can just bring a laptop and get some work done and rest.
It might be a good idea to have a bit of a layover.
It was so worth it. It was just amazing, absolutely amazing. I can catch up on the work and everything else, but holy fuck, it's just
that's cool. So this was basically just for fun, right?
For fun and for work.
Oh, okay, and work. Okay.
So, what the Arnold's networking and social media and promotion stuff. So here's the way I see it. First and foremost, I was going there because I just think the whole bodybuilding thing is cool. That's how I got into the whole fitness thing to begin with. I wanted to be a bodybuilder. Don't have the genetics for it. Didn't want to go the pharmaceutical route or anything like that. Or I shouldn't say I don't have the genetics for it. I've got okay genetics, but not like make it in the thing genetics. But but I just love the bodybuilding competition and all the different athletic and strength competitions are going on there. So I wanted to go and see all this stuff. And there's I don't even know how many events. There's dozens and dozens and dozens. They have bodybuilding competitions, and there's a bunch of different classes in the bodybuilding. Or they've got the classic physique, they've got the men's open, they have wheelchair bodybuilding. They also have a bunch of women's competitions, bikini and fitness competition, which is a women's physique competition that also has a performance, like an athletic, almost gymnastic type thing that goes with it, which is just amazing to see. And
hopefully
then,
not the stuff you see on Twitter.
It could be. They're doing flips, they're jumping and doing back flips and crap in the air and all sorts of acrobatic stuff. It's just amazing to see. The bikini competition was something else. And they have what's called a wellness competition, which is like a bikini competition, but for women that are a little bit more muscular and a little bit thicker on the bottom and in the thighs, not fat. These women their body fat percentage is below average. They're lean, but not like ripped like the female bodybuilders. So that was cool to see. They had strongman competitions. Have you guys seen Conan the Barbarian?
Yes.
Do you remember the Wheel of Pain that they put him on in the beginning of the movie? So this company, Rogue Fitness, huge exercise equipment company. They sponsor all sorts of different athletic competitions, mostly CrossFit, but some other stuff, powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting, strongman competitions. They built back in 2019 a full-scale replica of the Wheel of Pain from Conan the Barbarian, except instead of those huge millstones, they have these barrels that are filled with sand, but not completely filled with sand, but enough that the thing is heavy. This thing weighs something like 10 tons. And so as you are pushing the, whatever they would call them, these logs protruding from the Wheel of Pain, the spokes, as you're pushing these, trying to rotate all these barrels, as they're turning, the sand is coming up. And then gradually, you can imagine it like sliding back into place inside. But because it's constantly coming up as you're rolling it, there's all this back pressure. So you cannot build up any momentum on this thing. And so the competitions, they have you stand and you place your hands on one of these spokes of the wheel. And then you've got 60 seconds to try to rotate it as far as you can. And they've got the distance is marked off around there. And the thing is just massive and incredibly heavy. And after the strongmen, or they had a strong woman competition, after each person does it, they reset it, but they've got to have like 5 or 6 big guys come out to push this back into place to reset it between each one. The thing is, so seeing that was amazing. They had, you ever see the show Ninja Warrior?
Yep.
They had,
love that show.
They had an obstacle course set up and they had people competing on that thing. They had this tag thing that was like in this big parkour obstacle course, people playing tag on this. They had medieval fighting. They had 5 versus 5 teams in full armor with metal weapons, although the rules are the edges had to be at least about 5 millimeters. I think it's 5 millimeters thick. So these are not sharp edges, beating the hell out of each other in this armor. It was crazy to see.
Oh, it's wonderful.
There's so many different things. There was things going on everywhere. You could not possibly see all of it. So if there's anything in strength or athletics, chances are that there's something going on. They had grappling. They had a whole thing, a jiu-jitsu thing going on. It was just absolutely crazy. And then they have all the competitive bodybuilders, a lot of past and present champions doing these panels and discussions. It was nonstop. It was just fucking, there was not a minute that you wanted to sit down and even stop to eat, because in fact, other than sitting down a couple times to eat with my brother and people that he knew and some of these bodybuilders, just it's crazy sitting. And I probably was living off energy drinks and protein bars. And there was a company there, and I wish I could remember the name. I'll probably remember it afterwards, that made these things, and they're like Pop-Tarts, but they are high protein pastries. And there's 20 grams of protein, and they ranged from 170 to 190 calories. Now, if you've got at least 1 gram of protein for every 10 calories, you got about a 40% protein to overall energy ratio, which is decent. And so I've got my cargo shorts. So I'm walking around all day. I'm going and buying boxes of these things. I've got my cargo shorts stuffed with these high protein. They're not, I hate to call them Pop-Tarts because they're much, but Pop-Tarts are garbage. Don't eat Pop-Tarts, don't eat cereal, don't eat any of that crap. But these things they tasted good. And to get that much protein, the only problem was, and this was a hassle while I was at the thing, is those and the protein bars will give you an absolute ton of gas. So I think like once every 2 to 3 hours or so, I was heading to the bathroom thinking that I had to take a dump. And I just sitting there farting for like 5 minutes, wondering.
Jesus.
So the
Worst
protein
feeling.
pastries and the bars were great. They tasted great, but holy crap, I was just farting constantly from this stuff. So, but not while I was sitting next to anybody during any of the discussion panels or at dinner with anybody. I was careful about that. So yeah, don't eat a bunch of those things if you got to sit on a plane for 2-3 hours.
So outside of Arnold, who would you say is the biggest name within the bodybuilding community, past or present, that you ran into or spent any time with?
Because there's so many. If I have to just go with right off the top of my head, it's Ronnie Coleman.
Okay.
Because Ronnie Coleman, although Lee Haney was there, I've met Lee Haney before. I saw him very briefly, didn't stop to talk or anything. He hit it like a big fucking line, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to stop to wait for anything. There's so much going on. But Ronnie Coleman was an 8-time Mr. Olympia, and only 2 people have won the Mr. Olympia, which is, for people who don't follow this, it is the highest competition in bodybuilding. Lee Haney won 8 times, and Ronnie Coleman won 8 times. And Arnold won 7 times, and Dorian Yates won 6 times. Crap, I'm missing. Who else won 7 times? Is it Jay Cutler? I think so. Oh shit, I should remember this. Anyways, but Ronnie Coleman was there, so it was just absolutely huge. He is probably, after Arnold, one of the most popular bodybuilders, but like right up there with Ronnie is Jay Cutler.
Okay. And
Jay Cutler is just absolutely just the coolest guy you could hope to meet. One of the biggest stars in bodybuilding, but very down to earth. He'll stop and take time to talk with fans and answer questions. It's just
cool.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I am very critical of a lot of popular exercise programs and methods, but as critical as I tend to be of some popular bodybuilding practices, all of the competitive bodybuilders that I've met, every single one has just been absolutely cool. They all seem to greatly appreciate the fans, go out of their way to sign autographs, take pictures, all this other stuff. So just really, really nice people all around. So
cool.
I would probably recommend they do things a little bit differently with their training, mainly to save their joints and not wreck, to minimize their risk of injury and to minimize the wear and tear that they place on their joints. But that's a whole nother. It was just really fucking cool.
Yeah. Chris had a question. Are there different classes and divisions in bodybuilding, just like there are in boxing and wrestling?
There are different categories, but also I think it's at the NPC level. So you've got your NPC, National Physique Committee, and there's a lot of organizations, but the biggest ones, the National Physique Committee, and then the IFBB. And in National Physique Committee, you've got different weight classes, but I'm not sure about the IFBB. There's different classes in the IFBB, the International Federation of Bodybuilding. You have the men's open, which is basically whatever weight. And there was a 100-pound difference between the lightest and the heaviest guy on stage for the Arnold Classic for the Open. They all looked phenomenal, but 100 pounds is a huge difference. And then there is the classic physique category. And with the classic physique category, the judging criteria is a little bit different, to where they are awarding points more for physiques that are reminiscent of the bodybuilders of the 1970s, early 80s, where there was less emphasis on just being massive and more emphasis on having that very tapered look with the really broad shoulders, but also the very small waist. There's kind of there's a point somewhere, probably right around after Lee Haney, later in the late 80s, early 90s, when there was a shift towards this just massive, rugged, huge look. Dorian Yates probably best exemplified that, and then Ronnie Coleman, just massive beyond belief after. But before that, there's this classic. There was more this emphasis on having the V taper, the very small waist, and all of this. So there's the classic physique, and then they had in some things they've got this 212 class, basically 212 pounds and under, and 212 pounds sounds like a lot of muscle on the average person, but on the bodybuilders, a lot of times if you're seeing a 212 pound competitive bodybuilder at that level, they're like 5'2", 5'3". These guys are short, but they're just absolutely just, I wouldn't say massive, but just really heavily muscled. Of course, there's what they call men's physique, which is kind of a step down from bodybuilding. These guys they're really incredibly well built, but there's some different criteria in the posing. It's more of like a beach body kind of competition, or at least that's how it started out.
Right now? Is that something more like where you're at right now in your?
For me to be able to, now I could be lean enough to do something like that.
Okay.
In maybe about 2-3 months if I'm strict. But I do not have the size to compete with these guys right now. So I am, as of this morning, 184.7 pounds.
Okay.
And I'm about 5'8".
Okay.
So to get lean enough, I would probably get closer to about 175 pounds. But then I would be competing with guys my height or a little bit taller, and probably weigh about 20, 30 pounds more than me. Guys who are going to be 195 to 200 pounds or more, and just have a lot better upper bodies. I am, from the knees down, I have great calves. I wish the rest of my body, if the rest of my body grew like my calves did, then I could walk on stage and probably not place, maybe, but I would not look out of place on stage if the rest of my body was like my calves. So if they only have just a calf contest, then I'll enter that. But I would have to significantly increase my upper body size. Shoulders, lats, I would have to put another 2 inches on my arms probably just to be able to be up there. And in short, and this is just, it is what it is. And I'm not criticizing any of these guys. This is just part of the competition. If you're going to compete at that level, the NPC and the IFBB, you need to have chemical enhancement. So let me put it this way. If I did go that route, I think I could, just because I'm in decent enough shape, especially at my age, with the genetics that I have. I was fortunate; I got good genetics. If I went that route, then yeah, I think I could. And there's always that temptation to do that, and maybe I might. I don't know. I might someday say, you know what, the hell with it. Let's just do it and see what I can do.
Because there is a senior division in bodybuilding. Yeah.
It starts at 40. It starts at 40. And I'll be 50 in August.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility of that. I don't know that I would. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. I think I probably will eventually, just because I just would like to know what I could do. But you got to be careful with all that stuff here because legal and all that other crap. So got to be careful with that.
Well, just tell them you're transitioning, and they'll give them to you for free.
There you go.
I mean,
I'll tell them that I have a daughter that identifies as a male and she needs testosterone.
Yeah.
Although this is Florida, so
you won't. Yeah, so that might be a little bit challenging for you in Florida now. But
the next,
I'd have to go to California for it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I'm sure there's some
they'll give it to you for free.
Yeah, on
women's
Twitter,
competitions. I'll post some photos, and I don't want to be crass, but I was sitting there watching some of these women's competitions, thinking I should be throwing dollars at the stage, and not.
Instead, you were farting.
Yes, or no. Instead, I was trying really hard not to fart. But oh my god, they all looked just phenomenal. They looked just phenomenal. The bikini competitors were something else. And it was so frustrating at the same time because I'm sitting there in this expo center watching these amazing physique, and I want to say athlete. I know a lot of people like this bodybuilding isn't an athlete. They're not athletes. It's a pageant. They get on stage and they pose. You get on stage. Well, first off, you diet, and I'm not talking to you. I mean, just in general, to people that would be critical of this. Oh, they're not athletes. They're not athletes. That is absolute bullshit to say they're not athletes. Here's the thing: the posing is not easy. If first off, it's like, well, maybe figure skating is not the best example, but or gymnastics is probably a better comparison. The discipline that it takes to diet to get your body fat down to that level is something that most people simply don't have. They will not put themselves through. And the effort that goes into the posing is tremendous. So they have you all lined up on stage, and you have gone through months of strict dieting. You are hungry, you may be somewhat dehydrated, and you've got these hot lights shining on you, and you've got a bunch of people judging you. And when you are striking and holding these poses, you have to consider that the judges are looking at every part of your body from your neck to your ankles and judging them. So you aren't relaxing anything. If you're doing like a pose with your arms or your back or chest or whatever, you need to make sure you're keeping your calves and your thighs and abdominals and everything else tight, because while you're flexing one body part, they're still looking at everything else. And everybody else that you're standing there with is doing the same thing. So you're out there for however long, contracting all the muscles in your body and trying to hold these poses. And while you're doing it, you want to try to look like you are relaxed. It's fucking hard, but you want to be up there just smiling at the judges and looking confident and not going like, not looking like you're shaking while you're doing it.
Yeah.
And it is harder than it looks. It's like a lot of other things. It's a lot of people, if they haven't done something, a lot of times they'll look at it and they don't know what they're looking at. They have no idea. It's like an iceberg. They see this little bit of it. They have no idea how much is going on. These people are athletes. It is physically demanding to go through some of these posing routines as well as the posing during the judging. So it's not, anyways, I could go on and on. I forgot what my original point was. Oh, I'm in this fucking expo center and there's all these amazing athletes. That's where I got off the track. Everybody is so fit, not just the competitors, but if you look around, there were some overweight people there, and there were some people who looked like they didn't exercise at all. But the vast majority of people there looked like they were fit, like they were healthy.
What a nice change.
I know. I kept thinking, this is what people are supposed to look like.
Oh,
but
yeah.
everywhere else you go, it's the opposite. If I go grocery shopping, there might be 100, 200 people in the grocery store, whatever. And the odds of me seeing one person that look like they work out, slim to none. Everybody's out of shape. I go to the mall. I go just anywhere. And it's like everybody is out of shape. And there's just this occasionally, and you see somebody else who works out. It's obviously work out. You get the nod. Okay, hey, there's another person who works out. It's kind of thing.
You're in this secret club.
But it was everywhere. It was everywhere.
Yeah,
and I just kept thinking, how nice would it be if this was just how things were? And what would it take? I mean, what would it take to get most people to just
look at old beach photos of
Atlantic
City and the Jersey Shore, and you really don't see fat people. There's not a fat
really
person in sight.
And with this stupid body positivity crap, or whatever, what do they call the fat acceptance or whatever it is? Here's, some people struggle with this. Some people have more difficulty losing fat. Some people gain fat more easily than others. There's a lot of different causes of stuff, but we should not be saying, this is attractive, this is sexy, this is fun. We shouldn't be encouraging it. We should be encouraging these people to be healthier, because it's not healthy. No matter what anybody says, having a little bit of extra fat, not a big deal. But when you're obese, when you're carrying a lot of body fat, it's not healthy. And it's not physically healthy. It's not mentally healthy. There's nothing about that a person should just say, well, this is who I am and I'm going to accept it. No, you can be better and you should be better. And if you do, you're going to be happier. You are going to be happier. People treat you better, right or wrong, people treat you better when you're more physically attractive. And I see fat people when I'm out, and I see people who are just, they got shitty posture. They look like they never touched a barbell in their lives. And sometimes I just think, you have no idea what you could be if you just put in the effort. You are wasting potential. You could have so much more if you would just put in the work, and the happiness that you would get from being fit, from being more attractive, from having a body that you are proud of, would just tremendously outweigh whatever little bit of enjoyment you get out of not going and doing something hard, not going to the gym, not getting out and walking or being more active. However much I love pizza. I fucking love pizza. I love chimichangas. I love sushi. There's a lot of things that I would love to be able to just eat as much as I fucking want. I don't. I eat a little bit occasionally because I do enjoy the foods, and there's no reason people can't enjoy the foods, but I don't gorge myself, and I'm careful with how much I'm eating, at least now.
Yeah.
Oh, I got fat before. I was eating too much of that shit. But however much you might enjoy those things, I absolutely guarantee that you will enjoy being fit and having a body that you can be proud of more. If you go to the beach, and I'm in Florida, so this is the first thing that comes to mind, but if you go to the beach, you go to the pool, you go to wherever it is that people dress in less clothing, you want to be able to take your shirt off and be proud and be happy with the attention that you're getting, instead of, and maybe it seems a little narcissistic, so what it is, it's nice to have people look at you and be impressed and react positively.
It gives you good, absolutely, it feels good.
Instead of going to the beach and not wanting to take your shirt off or being afraid to take your shirt off. And I'm fucking rambling, but I'm going to say one last thing on this, and then
don't be a fat shit.
Well, sort of, yes, but in a little bit more encouraging terms, however out of shape you might be right now, and however hopeless it might seem, you might be, 100, 200 pounds, something overweight. If you want to, you can absolutely change your body. Back in, it's like 2006, 2007, I trained this woman. She was almost 247, 248. She was just under 250 pounds. She was almost 250 pounds when I started working with her. And she was like 5'1", 5'2". I am not kidding when I say she was almost as round as she was tall.
Built like a milk jug.
Within 14 months, she weighed 117 pounds.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, and she looked good. I don't know. I didn't ask. I think she may have had some surgery to remove some of the excess skin. That is a concern. If you've got a lot of body fat, you lose a lot of weight. It might not all tighten up quickly. Over time, some of it will. But so that is a consideration. But I could go on and on about examples like this. There are other people who have done it, and if they've done it, you can do it too if you want to do it. And there's a lot of people out there who will help you. And I'm going to tell one more thing. I said it one more thing, but then there's going to be one more thing. A lot of people worry, if I go to the gym, people are going to make fun of me. No, people are going to laugh at me. They're not. Every single, there are jerks. I should say there are some jerks, but the vast majority of people that you encounter in a gym, if you go to a gym is like a fucking family after you've been there for a little while. They see you there doing the work. It doesn't matter if you're overweight. It doesn't matter if you're a 15-year-old kid that weighs 130 pounds that's trying to put on some muscle. It doesn't matter if you're a 40-year-old woman that has 50 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever to lose. If you are there doing the work to improve yourself, every fucking person there is going to respect you for that, and they're going to help you, and they're going to encourage you. In fact, I'll tell you that you go to a gym, people want to help other people because they like to think that somebody is coming to them to get help. That, oh yeah, this person wants my help. That's cool. They will help you. Again, there are some jerks, but the jerks are rare. The jerks are rare. Get started. Get started right now. Just go and do it. And a year from now, you are going to be a completely different person. You're going to be a happier person. And I want you to email me and tell me about it when you do. So I'm done, or I'll end up ranting all night.
What's your form and your it's called the hit list, right? How do people get if
they go to bay.com, it's just BAYE.com. It's I should remember this. Sorry, it'll say a hit forum on the menu, and you go to that and there's instructions for signing up there. And there's a ton of free information on the blog too. So if you go to the blog, spend some time reading there. You're going to get a lot of stuff that you can use right away. You can go on and apply that. But if you want a little bit more
YouTube channel as well, don't you?
Yeah, if they YouTube, I think it's just /Drew Bay. And occasionally I'll put videos up there. Once in a while I'll do Q&As and things like that. But honestly, if you go to a gym, people are going to accept you. People are going to respect the fact that you're there doing the work. Nobody's going to make fun of you. Nobody is going to give you a hard time because you don't look like a fitness model or you don't look like a bodybuilder, because they respect the fact that you are there to improve yourself. And that's all everybody else is trying to do as well. So, and you can, that Rob Schneider line uses, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. In fact, I'm going to say God, I keep saying one more thing, and then there's another thing. Most of you would be surprised at what you can do in a year or two if you are consistent and disciplined. You just have to decide that you want to do it. Make a commitment to better yourself and just do it every fucking day. You don't have to exercise every day, but just the better lifestyle choices, better diet choices, turning down things that are not good for you. The whole thing. I mean, that's a whole nother hours and hours of conversation, but every single person watching this now, every person watching this in the future, if you want to do it, you absolutely can do it. I've seen so many people start in probably a lot worse condition than a lot of you and really just dramatically transform their bodies. And it might take a few months if you are a super responsive person and you don't have that far to go. It might take you a year or two, depending on where you are now, but you can do it.
You need to have a positive mindset. You can't have
fuck
a negative
yes.
one. Because a lot of people, the reason why they don't try to improve is because they think they're going to be judged. So they literally have to get out there to say, I don't give a fuck what people think. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to start exercising.
You're going to be.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you are going to be judged at the gym, but you're going to be judged positively. You go to the gym and people are going to see that you are putting in the work. Everywhere else, nobody knows what the fuck you're doing. You walk into the airport, you walk into a store or something and you're overweight. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what you are doing. But people who see you at the gym, they know that you are there doing the work to improve yourself, and you are going to be positively judged for that. You're going to get respect just because you are doing what is necessary to improve yourself. But the positive thinking, fuck yes, 100%. Flex Wheeler did a discussion panel on, I think it was Saturday, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. I thought it was going to be a lot of bodybuilding talk, but it ended up being more inspiration than anything else. But he talked about a lot of people having a lot of negative self-talk and telling yourself, oh, I'm fat, I'm out of shape, I'm ugly, I can't do this, I can't do that. And what he had recommended is every single time you catch yourself engaging in any kind of negative self-talk, is you got to balance that out by saying something positive to yourself. And again, even if you are in bad shape, something that you can hold on to that will help with this is the fact that if you are taking steps to improve it, that's something to be proud of. So it doesn't matter if you're out of shape. If you're moving, it's the direction you are moving in. But yeah, fuck the negative self-talk. Just stop doing it. If you catch yourself doing it, say something nice to yourself.
Indeed.
So
what part of Florida, by the way, Drew?
Right by Orlando. And I don't know if you know where Apopka is. I think we're northwest or northeast. We're somewhere in we're about 10 to 15 minutes down I-4 from Orlando.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I usually go to Miami often, taking 95. So yeah, maybe
about an hour.
I'll let you know.
Awesome. Yeah, we're about if you take, I think, a 95, I think it goes to I-4, or might be something else in between, but probably about an hour 15 minutes or so to get to 95 from here. I think. Cool. I know it's been a while.
Cool. All right, gentlemen, we're coming up on the hour mark, and I wanted to keep it about that. So,
oh fuck! I didn't mean to talk to everyone
who's. No. This was it was cool to have a solid subject to riff off of. So thank you for joining us, Drew, and everyone in the chat. Good to see you. Good to interact. Let's go around. Robert, where can everyone find you?
Here with the Masculine Geek and Robert Kuzlin on Instagram and Twitter. So.
How about you, Jesse?
Yep. Those who know me over at twitch.tv rough_stuff_TDB. You can find me there, or rough_SC2 on Twitter. And yeah, for those who may be watching my stream, go ahead and jump over to the Masculine Geek and hit subscribe over there. These are good men. You can learn some good stuff from them.
Cool. Thank you. And last but not least, Drew.
I'm zoning out here. Oh crap! They can find me at the blog, which is bay.com, BAYE.com, spelled like the last name. At Twitter, at Bay Drew, BAYE Drew, and then I think everything else it's Drew Bay. YouTube, Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I don't use it as much as I should, but now that my abs are back, I should probably be posting pictures because that seems to help with the marketing.
Well, it sounds like you should do an OnlyFans for your calves or something.
I have had a bunch of weirdos ask me to sell them my used socks. Oh. So there might be a side business in that. I just block.
Hey, that's a compliment.
But yeah, no OnlyFans.
Well, they'd be a sleeping bag for Cappy, so I don't know why. I guess that's why he wants them when he's out in the woods or something. Use them for a sleeping bag.
Although a calves only OnlyFans, if people want to pay to see pictures of my calves, that just seems really fucking weird and creepy. But that I would be comfortable with. Everything from the knees down. Although my shins are just about as well.
Well, there you go.
Cool.
So that could be my new business model. Calves only.
Yeah, so those side
only
businesses.
calves.
All right, everyone. Onlycalves.com. Indeed. All right, everyone. Enjoy, and we'll see you next Wednesday for Drew's AD&D campaign as it continues.
All right.
And why is this not going off? Come on. StreamYard's being a bitch tonight. StreamYard, you absolute piece of shit tonight.